So, starting your own dog walking business, it doesn't have to be complicated. I see a lot of questions. It's like the main thing. I want to start my own dog walking business. I have no idea where to start, or I have no idea what I need. But honestly, I think people are overcomplicating it and making it a little bit harder and a little bit more intimidating for them to start. And honestly, to start your own dog walking business, you only need a few things to get started. And when you start your own dog walking business, it can be as easy or as hard as you want to make it. It can be an easy in the way that you're just very selective with the dogs that you take on. You can have some of the easiest dogs ever, like just a well-trained, don't pull, recall's brilliant, things like that, and it'll make your walks an absolute dream. Or you can end up taking on dogs that are a little bit more challenging to work with, and it can make the job a little bit more difficult. And it all depends on the clients that you take on and the kind of relationship you have and the way you run your business. So it can either be as easy as you want to make it or as hard as you're going to make it. And honestly, this will come through trial and error, but it's not that overcomplicated to start. And honestly, for me, it's one of the best jobs that I could possibly imagine at the moment. Like being up here in the moors every day, for me, is just absolute bliss. It's brilliant. But don't get me wrong, the job it comes with its challenges. The weather is probably the biggest challenge, especially living where we live. You know, we can get a variety of weather, and it can make it challenging. So, like I say, it can either be one of the best or one of the worst jobs for you, depending on who you are and how you want to do it. What do you actually need to get started? So, first and foremost, I think we need to point out that dog walking and dog training and certain jobs within the industry are actually unregulated. There is no governing body for it. You do not need a qualification. You do not need anything to start. So anybody, anywhere, could literally just wake up one morning and go, you know what, I'm going to start a dog walking business, and just crack on and start advertising. It can be as simple as that. Obviously, I don't recommend you do that. There are certain things that I highly recommend that you have in place before you even start doing that. But basics, it's not regulated, and anybody can start it whenever they want. Now, that could either be a good thing or a bad thing. In a good way, so it will give people the chance to break into other areas if they wanted to become a dog trainer, dog behaviourist, you know, other things that obviously involve lots of different breeds of dogs. It's a great way to get knowledge on different breeds, get experience with working with different breeds, learning the temperaments and how they work and how they drive. And it's just a really way to get a really good variety of working with lots of different dogs, lots of different breeds, and learning how they work and how they click. And it's a really good gateway into these sort of things. But then on the other hand, with it not being unregulated, that anybody can start. No qualification, no prior experience with dogs. Don't even have to own a dog at all. There's some people that take the biscuit way of got absolutely no experience and just think it'd be great to make a bit of pocket money, and then they have bad practice when it comes to dog walking. So there's ups and downs, pros and cons to all of it. But yeah, anybody can start. You guys can start right now if you wanted to. Which brings me on to my first point. Really, if you are going to do it, you should always take out the correct insurance for your business. Never take anybody's dog or look after anybody's pet, obviously excluding like family, without the correct insurance. You've got to cover yourself, cover the dogs. There's lots of different insurers out there that you could pick from. Obviously, in light of like the XL Bully Ban, you need to fight if you're planning on taking these for solo walks or implementing them somewhere to the groups. You're gonna have to take an insurer that will cover these dogs. So like my insurance, mine has a vet release form attached to it. They can fill in the details of the vets and stuff like this. And then obviously if worst thing were to ever happen, like they cut the paw or something was stuck in it and I needed to get it removed immediately, couldn't get hold of the owners, the vets won't actually touch them without insurance or a vet release form. So always have these in place. These are all sort of things that you're gonna have to look into. And then there are the other checks you can get. You can get DBS or pet medics and stuff like that, so you know how to do pet first aid and stuff like this. All great things to have. Honestly, in my entire time of doing this, I've never been asked for a DBS, but that is probably because my business is run quite small. I operate out of the 2 local villages. Most people know me. A lot of my works come from recommendations, so it's not like I'm operating such a wide area where people have no idea who I am and they want to check these checks. So I've never been asked. But yeah, stuff like that, DBS checks and pet first aid would be beneficial to have. Next, I highly recommend you have a quick think about what sort of services you're going to offer. Do you want to be a jack of all trades? Do you want to do, like, you know, house visit, puppy visits, garden lets? Do you want to do solo walks, or do you want to do group walks? A mixture of all these things. A little bit of training here and there, you know, if you have a good understanding of these sort of things. You know, do you want to be a jack of all trades and offer lots of different services? Obviously, when it comes to that, obviously it makes your scheduling and all these little things a little bit more complicated to deal with, but obviously it's not impossible because loads of people do it. So you need to decide whether you're going to do that or not. If not, you need to decide whether or not you're just going to focus on solo walks, because if you do solo walks in your local town and you just want to earn a little bit extra, you don't actually need a vehicle of any sort. Less insurance, less stuff to run. Yeah, less stuff to run. You can literally just walk one dog, take it back to the house, walk to your next dog and do that. Obviously your time and profits and stuff will be limited by this, but if you're just looking to do something a little bit extra, it's a great way to go. You need to decide if you want to do group walks. Like me, I pretty much just do group walks. That's all I do anymore. Don't have time to put in solo walks, so I literally just do group walks. We just take out 4, 5, 6 dogs at a time, give them all a good run up in the moors, take them back home. Yeah, so have a quick think about these services you're going to offer and build your business around that. Obviously these things will change over time, whether or not you don't want to do group walks right now because you haven't got the vehicle and you just want to get started. Start with solo walks, pop-in visits, house visits, stuff like this. It's a great way to start, but have a quick think about what services you're going to offer. Business name and logo. Honestly, you don't need to worry about these too much. Your logo can change and improve over time. I would start with something a little bit catchy, a little bit colourful, a little bit colourful. Keep it simple. So mine started out originally just like a paw in a circle with Odin's paws written in it, and now it's advanced into what it is, and it can always change. It's the fun of logos, having a bit of an update. Name, I would pick something that's probably going to stick a little bit better. You could put your name in there. I wouldn't have it like a massive name. It's like a real long name. I would honestly have it pretty short and sweet, to the point. Like K9, stuff like that. Dog walks, service. Have services in your name if you offer multiple things. But I would try and be a little bit more consistent with your name. Next up, you're probably going to have to decide on your pricing and pricing structure and how you're going to do things. Obviously, if you've got a lot of different services, it'll take a little bit more time to decide how much you're going to charge for each service. And also your rates will be decided roughly as well on your area. Some places pay a little bit more, some places pay a little bit less. For me, in my area, I probably charge on the higher end for each dog on my walk. There are a few people that charge less than me, which is absolutely fine, because they charge less because they just pick them up, walk them around the streets, or they just go to the local dog park. For me, it's not what I wanted to do, so I charge a little bit more, and I bring them obviously up into here. So the dogs that I take on generally have to be well behaved, have a bit of recall, because rabbits, deer, sheep can appear from anywhere, so I need to be on it. It's obviously a lot higher risk, but it's what I enjoy doing, and the dogs enjoy it more. I feel like they benefit from it more. It's a great environment for them to be up in the moors, which is why I charge a little bit more, because I pick these guys up, we'll put them in the car, we'll travel up here. So again, travel time. We'll have a good walk. Walks are always 45 minutes to an hour. Always, unless medical emergency or something's happened. So always that. And then we've taken back home. If they need washing and cleaning, I'll have to do that, towel dry them off. Obviously I tell my clients, can't always go and guarantee 100% clean dog on return, which most of them understand, which is fine. But I've got to make that clear. Yeah, so do a little bit of market research, look at your local dog walkers in your area. Do not compare yourselves to them whatsoever. Like I say, charge what you want to charge. You need to do a little bit of calculation. Decide how much you would like to make each month to cover bills and costs, or whatever you would like to make. Divide that by how many hours in the day you want to make. And obviously that's going to tell you how much you need, how many dogs you need, and how much you need to charge per dog. So yeah, you need to do a little bit of costing to decide whether or not, if you just wanted to make a little bit extra just because you enjoy walking dogs, that's fine. You don't really need to cost this house. But if you're looking to make a full-time business out of it like I have, you need to decide how much you need to make each month, and that you're gonna have to break that down and work out how much you're gonna need to charge for each dog to make it profitable and worth your time. Right, we're back out with another group. It's getting warm now, so we're trying to chill out near the water. Let them have swim, plenty of juice. Yeah, so anyway, back to it. Pricing and all those sort of things all want to be decided prior to it. You can always increase your prices slightly as time goes on. You want to be trying, but you don't want to be messing around with it too much. So obviously don't go in too cheap, don't overprice yourself. Try and find a nice sweet spot that will complement your services. Like I say, when I take mine out, we come up into the malls, we do these sort of things. We also take pictures, we also do really good pictures, we do videos, and these all get sent to the clients, and we have our own little groups for each client. So all the pictures and all the information, all the videos and stuff, and all the nice times that these dogs are having all get shared within a group, and the clients love it. So it's all a bit close-knit, it's all very good, which is why I charge a little bit more, because I provide a fairly close service to my clients and all these dogs. So that will tie into all these things, pricing, stuff, group sizes, all want to be within your contract, which is the next part of thing that you're going to have to start looking at. You're going to need a contract in place. And a contract wants to try and state as much information as you could possibly get in it. It wants to state all the prices, your insurances, the liabilities, all these sort of things want to be in it. We do have templates for it that you can get online and obviously tailor it to what you need. But he just wants to try and include as much stuff as you could possibly put in there. I would even recommend a photo release form so that they're giving you permission to use their pictures online. I would even recommend stating in the contract where you would like the dog keeping. So a part of your contract to say, upon return, where would you like the dog keeping? They can specify a place, and if the dog is in there and they've agreed to it and something happens, you're completely covered. So you want to try and get as much stuff into your contract as possible. So have a look into getting yourself a well-worded contract that covers as much stuff as you need it to cover, and even modify it to cover more or less to what you need it to cover. But out of all the things that you do when it comes to taking somebody's dog out, never ever take a dog out without insurance and a contract in place. So now you've got to decide how you're going to market your business, where you're going to advertise. To be honest with you, a lot of people mention websites. At the start, honestly, a website's not really necessary. It's a good place for people to find you, but again, people have got to search for you and find you, and it's not as quick to getting clients that you want. Obviously, your best form of marketing when it comes to dog walking is recommendations from other clients or people surrounding areas. So word of mouth smells better, because it shows that you care for the dogs and you're getting good recommendations, and people that you tend to get from recommendations tend to trust you a little bit more, and just sort of go with the flow, and they just want the dogs looking after. And it's just one of the best forms of marketing, is word of mouth, just by far. You can also consider, which is what I did as well, get yourself some flyers and little business cards, leave them in local places, don't leave them too far, local places, butchers, shops, local markets, things like that. Just leave them local and let people find them that way, and then your information's out there for people to see. Also, online obviously is going to be one of your biggest forms of marketing. So we just use Facebook for ours, and as much as I don't like to use online tools as much, Facebook's by far going to be your easiest ones, purely because you can join local groups in your area and you can advertise within there. So what I highly recommend that you do is you get yourself onto Canva completely free. Just design yourself a tiny little advertisement, say dog walking space is available, a little bit of your information on there, how to contact you and stuff like that, and post it into your the local groups would be a good place to start. Also, start yourself up a business Facebook page, and obviously if you've got a dog yourself, or if you've got friends that have dogs as well, take them along for the ride, take some nice pictures, start putting posts up of your walks and pictures of your walks, and then sharing them posts into your local groups so people can see where you go and what you do. And then hopefully from there your clients will start rolling in. When you start getting clients rolling in, hopefully you can get some good recommendations, because people do tend to ask on the local groups recommendations for a dog walker. And hopefully if you're doing a great job and people think you're doing an amazing job with the dogs, they'll start recommending you. So they're like the main things that you need. Obviously you need your insurance, your contracts, your pricing structure, and a picture and a logo, and a place to start advertising. Once you get on with them, you'll start getting some clients in and you can start going from there. A couple other things that you probably want to consider and like decide on how you're going to do it is whether or not you're going to use a car or a vehicle. A lot of people will ultimately say you must have a van and it must be kitted out with crash tested crates, and it costs absolutely thousands to set that up. So it puts a lot of people off, right? Yeah, don't get me wrong, dog safety is paramount. It's like one of the most important things is looking after the dogs properly, but most people can't afford that straight off the bat. So there is absolutely nothing wrong with you kitting your car out with some decent crates and a hammock and starting out from there. Obviously if you're just traveling around your local areas and you're only in the car for 5-10 minutes, this will be absolutely fine. If you're traveling down the motorway and you're going for miles and miles, I would highly recommend you do get it kitted out properly and you do get some crash tested crates. And this sort of equipment can all come in time as well. If you just start out and you're using your car or a small van for now and you stack some crates and you have a makeshift thing in there, as long as the dog's safe and secure, you'll be absolutely fine. And when you start making some profits out of your business, advance there and start getting crash tested crates and a van kitted out if your business starts to take off and you decide you want to take on more dogs. But if you're only taking 2 or 3 dogs at a time, a set of like really high quality boot crates, stuff like that, will be absolutely fine for your dogs for now to start with. And then also, I mean, ideally you want to have some sort of basic knowledge on like canine behaviour and dog behaviour, how they tick, how they work, how they learn. And then obviously you want to have some sort of breed information, like understand your breeds as well, understanding what drives the dog, what's going to make certain breeds tick. You know, like Labradors are going to retrieve, Spaniels are going to flush, and Shepherds are going to bark. So having a good idea of different breeds and how dogs work and how they learn and how they're going to behave will be like super beneficial for you. So honestly, yeah, they are the bare bones, they are the absolute basics of what you need. You need insurance, contracts, bit of a price plan and stuff like this, bit of idea of how you're going to market your business, but they are the absolute basics of what you need to start. So don't be put off thinking it's super complicated to get started. Obviously you want to start and you want to try and have the best possible practices in place and try and learn as much as you can about the business before starting up, but to get started, that's pretty much all you need. That's the bare bones, that's the basics. So don't be put off by starting thinking it's too complicated, or people are telling you that you need to have this, that and the other, and you need to have crash tested vans and it's going to cost you thousands to get started. Absolute nonsense. All these things can come in time. Now obviously these things are ideal to have because it's safety first, isn't it? It'll put the dog in better positions when you're traveling, if you're traveling far, you know, if worst thing were to ever happen, obviously. You know the dogs are going to be safe within the vehicle, but like I said, to start you don't even need a vehicle. You can just do solo walks, or you can just do like 2 or 3 dogs and pick them up en route as you go. There's lots of different possibilities, there's lots of different ways to do it, depending on how big and how many dogs you want to take or what you want to do your business as. Like I say, if you just want to do pop-ins or sitting, you don't even need a vehicle for that. So what I'm going to give you now is a free PDF that you can just download and have a look at. It's the 7-day startup, everything that you need to start up within 7 days. Again, pretty much going over what we've just talked about, a little bit extra in there as well, just to give you a little bit more information. So grab that, I will pin that down in the description and in the pinned comments. And yeah, don't be afraid of getting started. But grab the link, get the PDF, have a look at it, and get started. Because honestly, like I say, it's one of the best jobs that you can do, especially on days like today where the dogs have just been great, the weather's been great. So yeah, it's absolutely amazing. So thanks for watching. I hope you found some of this informative and helpful, and hopefully you do decide to start. So if you do decide to start and you're considering starting, or if you've got any other questions, drop them down in the comments and I'll get back to you.